Installing an overhead DVD player and a 2016 Infiniti QX something. First, prepare your workspace. Open all the windows, sunroof, recline all the seats. Ooh. Now that your seats are reclined, it's time to get all the pieces out of the way. You ever seen that song, Knee Bones Connected to the Whatever thing? Cars are kind of like that. I need to get this headliner down behind the sunroof. In order to do that, I gotta take this panel off. In order to do that, I gotta take this panel off. In order to do that, I gotta take this panel off. Plus, I gotta get the sun visor, this thingamajigger, and the mirror's fine. This handle, this panel, all out of the way. You gotta do it in order. The majority of cars are set up this way. So first you gotta take off this panel. Usually, you can just kind of grab it, pull up on it, pull it out. Ta-da! That's the one in the back seat. If you have to pull real hard, you're not doing it right. Ooh, this one's got a tricky clip. See that guy? It's part of the weather stripping. So you know what I'm going to do? Since I don't actually have to have it all the way out of the way, I'm going to leave it there so I can get this guy out. Get this guy out. It usually clips around into the weather sill by the door. Just kind of work it, pull it, top to bottom, front and back. And it's out of the way. Now this is, again, I don't actually have to take this one all the way out, but it does give me access to be able to get this guy out. This guy's actually held in by the weather stripping. So if you loosen it up from the door sill, just gently pull it away. And we can actually take this down because we're going to take that all the way out because that helps get the headliner out. You can see that this is loose. Get that out of the way now. Now that's out of the way, we gotta do the same thing on the other side. Now that's out of the way. Let's get all these little things out of the way. These handles are held in by screws. They're a little hidden though. So what I like to use is a little screwdriver called a pocket pry bar. And you get in here, pop off that little cap. Look at there, screws. The visors. How the heck am I gonna get that out of there? Guess what? It's the same kind of thing. They're hidden. So if you just take and very gently get this little cover off. Maybe. There we are. Look at there. Screws. Now this little guy, which is the visor clip, a lot of times they have another hidden cover on the back here. You can open up and there's a screw in there. This one does not. It's different. This one, you just twist it, pops right out. Now for this handle. This one's a little more obvious. Big giant cap, but there's a little surprise under there. It's again a handy dandy pocket pry bar. Oh, there she is. Now that's out of the way. This acts just kind of like the rest of the panels. Gentle little tug. Wiggle it out like a loose tooth. There she be. Now we've got this tricky overhead control console. Some of them have screws hidden up behind the sunglass holders. Some of them have screws behind the lights. This one, oh, you just pull it out. What? Now that we got all those bits out of the way, actual headliner. This is looking through the sunroof area. We need to separate it. Now I already did, but I want to show you. The majority of them are held on by just this Velcro attachment pads. I'm going to hook this one back up. Here, click. Now they're pretty strong. Always make sure you're not pulling on the headliner material itself. You're getting down in there and actually pulling down on this plastic to get that to pop out. There's a bunch of them all the way around. Be careful, don't rip them out, don't rip the headliner. Now that the front of this headliner is loose, we're not going to let it fall down because I still got all this stuff in the back here. And I don't want to crease it because if you pull this down, it can crease that headliner. But we're just going to mount that DVD player right here. After you get your DVD player set up, most of them come with different skins that are like to match the color of the interior. I've put on the gray one because this one's gray. I'm not going to show you how to do that because every manufacturer is a little bit different. So follow the instructions in the box. Now what you need to do is we're going to take this mounting plate, which is actually what screws onto here through these little mounting holes. That's what holds it up to the headliner. So we're going to get that situated. It looks silly. I'm laying down inside the car, looking straight up. The reason for that is so I can have a good eyeball as to where this mounting plate is going to go. I like to line it up, and then you mark it with your handy dandy Sharpie. So this is my view looking up. Now I know that the narrower section of this plate goes towards the back. So I'm going to line this up, centered with that handle, and try and find the flattest spot to mark it. Well, I only have two hands. One of them's holding the camera. The other one's holding the... I need another hand. Well, with the use of my third hand, I've made my marks. And there they are. I did a couple extra marks. These four are the ones that mount the monitor to the headliner, or through the headliner to the mounting plate. Now these two I'm going to do something special with. There is a bracket right here. It supports the sunroof. I'm actually going to mount and screw the mounting plate to that bracket for added stability. It's one of those little things I do for my customers to make sure that everything I do doesn't come back. We've reached the point of no return. Point when cause permanent damage to this headliner in order to install the DVD player. I have to cut it. The way I do it, rather than poking a small hole, just small enough for the screw to fit through, I give myself a little leeway. So just centered around my existing dot. I cut a square out, just like that. Do that for the repeating holes. Ta-da! Now they don't have to be pretty because, well, it's going to be behind that screen, so whatever. I'm actually going to be drilling through this from below the headliner. Notice it's actually going to go through my Velcro point, but it doesn't really matter because this DVD unit is actually going to help hold that headliner up. So what would really suck is if I drilled through this piece and then my drill bit just continued on and hit this sun roof cover. That'd be bad news. So, got myself just a scrap piece of steel. I'm just going to slide that in between the two. So as I drill, if I go all the way through, I don't keep going up into that. Well, make sure it's clean. Light interior, dirty stuff, bad news. Be careful feeling around in there right where you just drilled. There might be sharp bits. Every toolbox needs band-aids. Back to it. So now I got my mounting plate bolted up to this cross brace from the sunroof. Ugh. Let's get this thing tightened down. Well, I got the connector in, plugged in, the 4 screws started to hold it in there, and tighten it up. Ta-da! Got my wires ran down the A-pillar, zip tied them to the factory harness, turn it down underneath, where I'm going to come in to the fuse block. We're going to have a little chat. Every DVD player, radio, anything requires power, ground, and ignition. That's what it takes to turn it on. Now, I am not going to show you where I am hooking up those wires to this vehicle, because every vehicle is different, and what's going to happen is you're going to hook it up, you splice into some wires that you're not supposed to, or you miss it by one color, or something stupid, and then you fry a $1,000 powertrain control module, or an airbag module, or something expensive, and you're going to blame me. Well, I'm not going to take that risk. So I'm going to let you know that what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hook up the power, ground, and ignition to this. Now that it's all in, tested, works, final tidying up tips. Get you some ammonia-free, just foaming spray glass cleaner, clean microfiber towel, and go around. Get any of those pesky little dirty fingerprints on this nice light interior. Keep your customers happy. Number one. What I do is I just spray a little bit onto my cloth here. Go around, look around. Find me some of them pesky little fingerprints. Light little rub. It works on the fabric or on the plastic. I think I saw some up here. I see a little mark there. Can't have that. Let's go through. Make sure anywhere you touched. It's nice and clean for your customers. If it's your car, you don't care. Alright then, go for it. And that is how you install 90% of the overhead DVD systems in a vehicle with a sunroof. Without a sunroof, it's actually a little bit harder. If anyone thinks that it's easier, it's actually harder without a sunroof. You have to almost remove the entire headliner out. Any questions? I can try and answer them for you, but every vehicle's different. This was how I did it on this one. It's how I do them on most of them. And like I said, finding the ignition and power source is critical on your vehicle. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on how to find proper usable power, ignition, ground, and so on most vehicles. Anyway, There you have it.